Yeah, journey with me. Yes, 2-5 Sports Reports is ordered. Yo, check us out. We got into a heated debate yesterday about the college football playoff. Rankings come out next week. So I don't have to put Georgia number one just because you want me to. Boom. So, with that being said, on Thursday night, we got a game emanating in Blacksburg, Virginia. Virginia Tech and Syracuse, old Big East battle. You know, the loser of this game is going to be in pretty bad shape when it comes to bowl games. So Virginia Tech sitting at 3-1 in the ACC, but 3-4 overall. Go figure, right? They're 3-1 at home, 0-3 on the road. But luckily for them, this game is at home. Syracuse at the very bottom of the ACC. You know, they are 4-3, but 0-3 in the conference. You know, out of conference, they played Colgate, Army. You know, they played, Purdue. So how did they get to 0-3 in the ACC? It's easy to look at that and say, well, why should they have a chance against Virginia Tech? Because you got to look at the schedule. Why are they 0-3? Oh, because they played Clemson, Florida State, and North Carolina back to back to back. Who came up with that schedule? So that's why they're 0-3 in the ACC. Not only that, they outscored in those games 112-27. Now, like I said, this series goes back to the Big East. Syracuse has an 11-8 edge all time. They've won 4 out of the last 5, including the last meeting, 41-36 in Blacksburg 2 years ago. So what are the keys to this game? So Garrett Schrader, he came into the season with some fanfare, quarterback for Syracuse. He is a good quarterback, but as I said previously, you wouldn't know it looking at the last 3 games. Those schedules, Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina, where he didn't throw for 200 yards in any of those games. Virginia Tech, on the other hand, they've scored 17 or less 3 times this season against Purdue, against Marshall, and against Rutgers. And I got a secret for you. Syracuse defense is probably better than all 3 of those teams, right? So Kyron Drones has come in, in relief of Grant Wells. Grant Wells is out with the injury. He's thrown for 1,043 yards. He's completing 58% of his passes, 6 touchdowns and 1 pick. So obviously protecting the ball, is key here. But he only averages 149 passing yards a game. He's carried the ball 91 times for 344 yards. So dual threat Syracuse is going to have to get on their P's and Q's and get that spy going. On the other side of it, Virginia Tech is 103rd against the run. So they give up 172 yards per game. So there's your recipe for Syracuse. Can Syracuse run the ball on Virginia Tech? Now, you and I both know, as long as we've been watching college football, Lane Stadium is a tough place to play. You get Enter Sandman going, and that team gets a little crazy. The crowd gets riled up, and it becomes a tough place for opposing teams. That helps when you're not a good team like Virginia Tech. Like I said, 3-1 in the ACC, but 3-4 overall. But they do have Antoine Powell Ryland, who's second in the ACC with 7 sacks. As a whole, as a collective, Virginia Tech has 22 sacks, good for 6th in the nation. So can Syracuse protect the passer? Those are going to be the keys. Can Syracuse run? Can Virginia Tech generate pressure? One thing Syracuse has going for them, bend but don't break. You can get to the red zone on them, but they're 8th in the nation. They only give up points in 67% of their defensive red zone trips. So Virginia Tech's going to have to get 6s instead of 3s, But it's weird when you think about that, because when you look at Syracuse as a whole, they're 112th against the pass, but luckily for them, Virginia Tech shouldn't be able to hurt them. So what do I see playing out in this game? I think Syracuse will be able to run. I think Virginia Tech will get a little bit of pressure, but I like Syracuse 27-23.